first, live, local. This is Good Day Oregon Plus.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We appreciate it. And we're here every weekday covering all kinds of different topics. We're able to go a little bit more in depth than we can on some of our other news shows because we are live streaming. So again, thanks for being here. Right now, we are talking about the holidays, and you've probably seen a lot of those really good deals that are starting to pop up all over the place on all kinds of different sites and those emails that you get and everywhere you go. And a lot of those are legitimate. Some of them are not. And that's what we're going to be talking about here with this. There are so many different ways that scammers can try to separate you from your money or steal your ID. We want to know about what they're up to and how you can potentially prevent that from happening for yourself, or what you can do to protect yourself. That's what we're going to be talking about right now. We're joined by Cliff Steinhauer, who's here from, let me get it pulled up here, National Cybersecurity Alliance. And Cliff Steinhauer, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it and having you here on the show. So to start off with this, you know, for this year, what are some of the big things that you're seeing when it comes to potential scams out there?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, every year we see hackers and bad guys really turn up the heat on online shoppers trying to scam us out of our money. This year is no different overall, but we do have the added twist of some new technology that the bad guys are taking advantage of. So, we've all probably seen some too good to be true kind of email offers or advertisements on social media that don't quite look right. But what we're going to see more of this year are better targeting. It's going to look more realistic, and there's going to be more of it because AI enables bad guys to scale a lot faster, a lot cheaper, a lot easier than they have in the past. So they're going to be more convincing. They're going to look a lot more legitimate, and the targeting is going to be better. So they can use analytics, profiles of people to really target them to things that they're specifically going to be interested in and really going to make them want to click on those links.
So some of those links that, you know, like we're used to seeing, the hyper-targeted ads, you know, that can happen out there for specific products, you know, legitimate products. So they're utilizing that same kind of technology, it sounds like, with fake ads.
Exactly. Yeah, they come through those same channels, the same trusted channels that we see legitimate advertising come through. So there's such a large volume of ads that are displayed to us on a daily basis. So we're talking hundreds of billions of ads going through social media to people every single day. So they just blend in with that normal traffic, and that adds legitimacy to their campaigns. But the red flags that we can all watch out for are obviously those too good to be true type of deals, little misspellings or different names for the storefronts. And then just things that don't seem quite right. So maybe a profile picture of somebody who looks like a celebrity or an influencer who's all of a sudden promoting this product that you've never seen them talk about before, or really, really urgent type of deals that you have to act on right away to get the deal, and things like that. And then other things that you can look for are odd payment methods. So like only taking Cash App or Bitcoin or debit cards and things like that. So there's a couple of things that you can kind of start to recognize that something might not be right.
Yeah, that seems like some ones. I mean, I imagine it can be hard sometimes, you know, when that frenzy of so many deals happening and everybody's like, okay, I want to get this best deal and this is only a certain amount of time, that people can, if they're not paying attention, click on some of those. You know, you mentioned some of them, but just to go through that, other specific things that people can watch out for to really make sure that they're not falling victim to some of those different situations.
Yeah, so a couple of things. If you think you're shopping on a major platform like your Amazons, your Walmarts, Targets, and something doesn't look quite right, definitely check closer on that URL. Make sure it's spelled right. Make sure it's just the .com, no like at symbols or other kind of weird characters going on in the address bar. And if you're on a new merchant that you've never shopped on before, definitely check out and search, just Google search for that merchant and check to see if there are reviews or any kind of things popping up about scams. So earlier today, I was looking for something for my son who has a birthday right before Christmas, and I wanted to get this thing, and the only thing I could find was on a site I had never heard of before. And it was like, looked pretty legitimate, it looked fine. But then I kind of Googled it and looked around, and the reviews are really bad, and people were talking about never receiving their product after paying for it. So I didn't proceed. And so that's a really good kind of broad scope of what you could possibly do when you're looking at a new type of merchant. But otherwise, clicking on social media links, clicking on sponsored ads in terms of search results, those are places that can kind of take you to the sketchier side of the internet in terms of merchants that may not be as legitimate.
So watching out for those, that's a good idea to search that company if it's some company you haven't seen. If it's too good to be true, it could be too, that's most likely the case. When we're just talking about the artificial intelligence side of how that's being incorporated into some of these scams, you mentioned they can now mimic sites better. What are some of the other things that they can do with AI that maybe people should be aware of when it comes to cybersecurity scams?
Yeah, so AI is making it a lot easier for bad guys to clone legitimate websites. So in the back in the day, you could still clone a site just by copying the code from any page and putting it on your own page, but it wouldn't come up right. It would be a lot of work to fix it to make it look right. But AI can actually recreate it from scratch. So the person has to have no technical ability whatsoever to stand up a fake website. So it makes it really easy, really cheap, really fast for them to do that. Beyond fake sites, the messaging, the English, the grammar, and any kind of communication or ads can be used to make them look a lot more legitimate. And then the other thing that AI is able to do is it's able to do a lot of customization and personalization. So one example is some legitimate sites are even using this, where it'll be your favorite sports team and it will look like a whole crowd of people wearing that team. And then you look and the next person's ad is a different sports team, same crowd, but everybody's wearing the other sports team's apparel. So it's really easy to highly customize and highly personalize ads for the individual user, and that's done at scale with AI. So that also takes into account your preferences and the things you follow and the things that you look at on social media. So they can hyper target you with these specialized ads that are designed just for you. The third thing that they can do is use AI deepfakes. So they can take celebrity images and create deepfake videos and audio of somebody maybe promoting a product or promoting a special who they never actually said that. And so those can come up with fake profiles of influencers and celebrities pushing products and services that they would never actually promote. So a lot of scams can proliferate that way as well.
Which is, yeah, scary just how good that is getting to be. So say that you do click on one of those, you're in a hurry, you end up putting in your credit card information or whatever, and then you realize like, oh no, this was a scam. What kind of steps can you take after that point?
Yeah, so and it's going to happen to a lot of people, and there's no shame in that happening. I mean, it's absolutely all over the place, and it's really hard to tell sometimes. So first thing, forgive yourself. But second thing is call your bank, call the credit card company, the payment method that you used, and let them know that you suspect that you have been a victim of fraud, and so they can reverse those charges. We highly recommend shopping with a credit card whenever possible because they have the best fraud protection of all the payment methods out there. Otherwise, hopefully you're avoiding using things like sending money to a friend or using Zelle or Cash App or those other types of money transfers where it's really hard to get a refund. You should still report it and still try, but you're less likely to get that money back as opposed to with a credit card. The other thing you can do is report to the platform. So if you clicked on a link on social media or on a sponsored ad, if possible, to go back to that site or store on the social media platform that you were on and report it. If it was a phishing email that came through, report it back to your email service provider. And then finally, if it was a lot of money, definitely file a police report and get that documented.
All right. Well, anything else that you think is important for people to know, Cliff?
I think just, if you're going to shop online, try to stick to the trusted retailers and the big sites. I know it's like we want to promote and help small businesses. And if you decide to do a smaller or a different site that you've never used before, just look up the ratings and reviews. Better Business Bureau does a great job of that, but so do like regular Google reviews and like scamadvisor.com and other sites that you can kind of look at and make sure they're legitimate. And then you can always shop in person. That's one great way to avoid the online shopping scams too. So a couple of things you can do there.
That's true. Yeah, what's that in person? I forgot about that. No, that's a
Exactly.
great idea. Well, Cliff, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll get this information out there for everybody too, and good things for everybody to think about. Like you said, there's no shame in it. It's going to happen to a lot of people. So just be aware and try to prevent that from occurring as best as everybody can. Thanks, Cliff.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And for everybody watching, we are live streaming here. We're going to go ahead and We'll take a break here for a few, so depending on what platform you're on, you may see this video end, you may see us go to a commercial break. We will be back shortly. We've got more coverage coming up here throughout the afternoon. We are going to hear, I believe, we've got some news coming up here shortly. I'll wait until that happens and get everything confirmed, but we have more, and we are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon Newsroom. Thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.